not only does that not make any sense, but you're one of the idiots that needs to realize that there's room to learn. You must empty water out of that empty head so you can get knowledge in there, as Bruce Lee said. Dude, did you know you can subscribe to onlywrestlers.com and keep in touch with your favorite wrestlers? The party never has to end.
One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Hey, what else is interesting is you got some feedback, right? You got some pretty wild feedback when it comes to what your thoughts were about the John Moxley bat spike spot, and then that people calling you names, everything like that, and a lot of feedback, huh, Rob?
Yes, and well, I guess Katie just showed up or just got here, so there's going to be some barking in the background, but yes, and I look forward to talking about that. I spent some time on X recently, a day, maybe 2 days, trying to get through to some of the densest, trying to make my way through the densest woods on the planet. And in the end, I realized ignorant people are divided into the near hopeless, and that's because they don't want to learn. They want to defend their argument, whether they're right or not. They don't care. They're in it for the fight. And then some ignorant people just don't know better, and they don't know. These people don't know what the word hypocrite means. Wait till I get to that. But before I get to that, did you get us? Do you have a Smackback logo?
Oh, I got a Smackback graphic. Take a look at this. Boom.
Have a look. Bam. Okay. Okay. and we need a bell. Ding.
We do need something. Hold on. Let me see if I have anything on here. I have the You Feel Me. Hold on. The timing's gonna be off though, Rob. Just so you know. Hold on. Boom. And then we got Feel Me.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll work on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
It's okay.
Yeah. Hey, y'all.
The dog.
Hey.
Did you have a good workout?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, everybody, I stayed on X for a long time, and if you were privy to it, if you saw it, maybe I'm talking to some of you. If you joined this argument, because it's not even a debate, because people go into stupid areas, and let me start with this. Okay, first off, I'm going to say this, because the whole thing is a mistake. The whole thing is a misunderstanding. If you are ignorant enough to read a quote taken out of context and then actually put your name on a comment on how you feel about something that's bigger than that quote. In other words, you think you know how this person feels because a quote was taken out of context, and you feel so confident about it, you're going to fight to the death for your position against how this person supposedly feels because of what you read. First off, if that's you, raise your hand. Okay. Okay. You probably hopeless unless you realize that what I'm saying makes sense. Okay. So first off, some of you go ahead and leave the room right there. Everyone else, listen to this. If your perspective was, and you were part of this, and you had your feelings, if your perspective was that you think that I was bashing AEW, boom, you're wrong. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if that's what you think. Okay. Now, I didn't bash AEW. I wouldn't bash AEW. And it seems to me by far the worst part about AEW, and I hope this quote gets picked up, is the fans on IWC. The fans are so ignorant. here's what I said. I'm going to say it again. So if it hurt to hear it the first time, you're going to hear it again. I'm going to tell you what I did say. Okay. My whole career in ECW, even before that, the matches that Sabu taught me were garbage matches, which included all the weapons and gore and had wrestlers that didn't even have to know how to wrestle to be in the match. Okay. Those have always been at the bottom of the list of my favorite matches. That's my opinion. If you don't think I have a right to say that because I was in ECW, not only does that not make any sense, but you're one of the idiots that needs to realize that there's room to learn. You must empty water out of that empty head so you can get knowledge in there, as Bruce Lee said. So here's the thing. Those matches, especially the ones that have like thumbtacks, glass, fire, fish hooks, and when they have the competitors in there that don't do a single wrestling move and they don't even have to know how to wrestle, quote, to me, that's not wrestling. The more AEW does things like that, like the John Moxley spiked bat thing, and I think that they're heading in that direction more, and I think WWE is heading into more like old school WWE storytelling in the ring and less of let's stick a knife through someone's cheek, burn their house down, go for shock value. The more that they seem to be two separate styles, which I'm fine with, the more I personally would rather have RVD, the wrestler, associated with WWE. Now, if you heard that and you still feel like I'm bashing AEW, you need to check yourself. You're way too defensive because I'm not. And I'm not even bashing that spot. I don't like that spot. But the people don't understand. The fans are so challenged that they hit me with things, like, well, if you did that kind of stuff and you're saying you don't like it, you're a hypocrite. That's not what a hypocrite is. You know what? I don't like to be in mixed tag matches, but I did them. Does that make me a hypocrite? I even drew a cartoon to try to make a point because people, the challenge didn't understand. Can you bring that cartoon up? Can you show? Because of what they said, and it's a cop saying, "Stay away from drugs. Do your homework." But Officer Friendly, my uncle worked for your department, and he and my dad got high when they were 16. You're a hypocrite because that's what they're saying. If you say stay away from drugs and you worked somewhere where somebody else was doing drugs, then you're a hypocrite. That is literally what they were telling me on X, and it's stupid. So even back when I was in ECW, and especially back then, because I had that competitive state of mind, one idiot said, "Oh, Rob might want to try and distance himself from that, but that's not cool. It was ECW." I tried to distance myself from that shit when I was in the company with it. When Axel Rotten had a barbed wire bat, I tried to distance myself from it because I didn't want to get hit with it. I didn't want it to rip my outfit up. When Terry Funk and Sabu had a barbed wire match, I went out there to help Sabu and made a point of having gloves, had a long sleeve shirt and gloves and scissors to cut around the wire because that was so not my thing, and that was the point of it. But for some of these ridiculous mentally challenged fans, they just have a symbol of what I was, and they remember me rolling around in glass and blood, I guess. Show some of the comments on X of these. Sure. They think they're smart. They're defending their position so hard, and all I'm saying is I never did like it. So if I say right now, not my favorite thing, that doesn't make me a hypocrite. You're foolish for not just tapping out and saying, "Oh, I guess that makes sense." But for some people, they do not understand common sense. So let's tear a couple of them apart here.
Yep. Here's one of them.
Okay. And this was the point because they said if you did it and then you're saying that you didn't like it, you're a hypocrite. That's not what it means. Okay. I hated doing the West Side Story mock Survivor Series commercial. I hated it. But somebody corrected me and said, wasn't that the Royal Rumble? I guess.
It was the
But
Royal Rumble, but yeah.
it was a music video where they had to say, come on, everybody, sing louder, louder. And I was faking. Every time the camera would be on me, I'd be like, bah, 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 bah. I hated it. I don't sing and I don't dance. And even as an entertainer, as a wrestler, I hated doing what I, that commercial, but I did it. That makes me a hypocrite? How? You're stupid. If you take cash, you're being a hypocrite, my dude, says Mr. Nobody. So because I got paid to do something. So in other words, if my job is to clean up dog poop, do I have to like it or else I'm a hypocrite?
Right.
Like I have to be like, I love the ability to help reorganize the fertilization system of my economic systems. I love it. There's some poo-poo. No, I got your poo-poo. Let me get it. You have to be like that. If you pick up shit and then you say afterwards, oh God, I gotta go to work. Wait, is everyone that says, oh God, I gotta go to work a hypocrite?
Right.
Let me see. If you take cash, you're being a hypocrite, my dude. You made your name in ECW. Maybe you didn't like the stuff that went on. You could have left. Why would I have left? It wouldn't have, I didn't hate it enough to not want to work there. Why the hell would you even say that? How does that make sense? Wouldn't that be based on my values and how much I just didn't care for it?
Right.
We're in competition there. All of us wrestlers are back there saying, hey, fuck that guy. Fuck them cokeheads, fuck them alcoholics over there. And then we're smoking weed and we're, and they're saying the same thing about us. And it's competition. It's not a big party like when you guys do it in your backyard. It's not. Everyone's getting paid different. Everyone has to get told by one main man who's going up and who's going down because you don't want to go down. You think wrestlers like losing and putting the other wrestler over? That's a big part of it. And it's business. And anyway, let's see what else we can learn from Mr. Nobody. I could have left because you know what? I didn't like the smell of the bathroom at the ECW arena. I could have left.
Or you know what, Rob? It's like almost like, hey, I work in a grocery store. I'm a vegan, but there's the meat department still in the grocery store, but I still work in the grocery store.
I think you're a hypocrite. I think that makes you a hypocrite according to these ridiculous people. Like, yes. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure we're done with him, though. Instead, for content, you complain about the people doing it now. I love that. Like, if Mr. Nobody had a X account where there's like 1 million people following it, I wonder what interesting content he would pick since he doesn't approve of mine. He probably doesn't approve of me calling him out now either then. Oh, shucks, Mr. Nobody. I just can't. Oh, I like this part. It's not a good look.
Not a good look, Rob.
Thank you for saving me and my image, Mr. Nobody. You've done so much, dude. I want to thank you again. And again, according to you, if somebody takes cash for doing something and they don't like it, then you think that's the meaning of a hypocrite.
Right.
Stupid.
Oh,
Let's go to the next one.
yeah.
I believed, okay, because I asked him, same thing about the dog poop. I said, if I'm digging ditches in the hot heat, sweating my balls off, getting bit by mosquitoes, and then later on I say, man, this job sucks. Does that make me a hypocrite? And according to Chicken Wing, I'd say that if you believed within your heart that digging ditches in the heat was garbage and that it sucked, but you still did it anyway, having the choice to not do it, you'd be considered a hypocrite. So obviously, the problem is these people don't know what a hypocrite is, okay? We got the definition right here. Let's see if they're using hypocrite in the correct way. It says the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs. There's the problem. The fans don't know how to apply morality to anything because they don't have any. So now they don't know that it has to do with your morals. What the fuck does your job have to do with morals? What the fuck does having a match with Janice have to do with morals? You see, being a hypocrite is not a good thing. It's if someone says you're a hypocrite, if someone says you're a liar, if someone says you smell like shit, those are generally considered not good things to be, maybe even bad qualities to have. Now, if you're listening to this and you're still disagreeing with me, answer this question to yourself. Is being a hypocrite a good thing, a bad thing, or a neutral thing? Got your answer? Hold on to that answer, okay? Now, if a man does 9 years for robbery, when he gets out, if he tells people, hey, don't steal, is he a hypocrite? And if so, is that a good or bad thing? Because do you think he should tell people steal? Man does time for crime, and when he gets out, you think he should tell other people to do it? Otherwise, he's a hypocrite? Or you don't think being a hypocrite's a bad thing? Because you got to choose one or the other if you think you're right. And that's where you're confused because you don't have any morality. You don't have the morals. And that's where you're confused. It's not, hey, if your mom tells you, quiet down, you think she's a hypocrite because her mom had to tell her quiet down when she was 3? Your parents tell you don't shit your pants. Are they a hypocrite? Because mom, when you wore diapers, you shit your pants. Grandma, that you think that's a hypocrite? That's not what it is. Being a hypocrite is a life of duality where you're living 2 different ways at the same time by lying. Like you, and I'm addressing this to you, fans on X, okay? If you tell the person you're in a relationship with that you're not going to cheat on them and that you love them and you're faithful, but at the same time you're cheating on them and you're unfaithful, now you are a hypocrite. That's exactly what the fuck it means, all right? If you tell someone you're arguing with, it's all in your head, dude. That's not even the way it happened. You're crazy. And in reality, that's exactly how it happened. It's not in their head. You're gaslighting them. Guess what? You're a hypocrite. It's a horrible fucking person to be. And you don't understand if you think that someone that would advise somebody not to do something that they did before because they grew from it, and you think that's a bad thing, or you think hypocrisy is a good thing. One or the other. Because basically you don't know what hypocrisy means. So it does not conform. Pretense. Yeah, it's that's fake. That's what it means. Okay. The target was the hypocrisy of suburban life. Okay, yeah, it's not a good thing. You don't say, oh, he's a hypocrite, you know, but we all are because, you know, we all say, you know, don't piss the bed, but, you know, we pissed the bed. I pissed the bed till I was 5. So I'm a hypocrite for saying that, but it's not a bad thing. Stupid. What else you got?
We got this one next, Rob.
Okay, this was a good point. I mean, this was a guy that obviously understood my point, and I just thought it was worth, maybe it would make sense. Maybe like 3 more ignorant people might jump the fence and actually learn something here. Author of A Clockwork Orange hates that all of his works, that's the one that people like. Clockwork Orange, same deal. I'm glad you liked my one piece. It's not my favorite. Sucked making it, but cool that you like it. Sorry I didn't like it as much as you. You guys think he's a hypocrite, right? By your definition?
Yeah.
Don't use words that you don't know what they mean. Stupid. And he's got a point. You know, I can say that about a lot of stuff in my career, with acting and with wrestling. You know, I mean, you show up and they're like, "Hey, it's you and Luther Reigns. Luther's going over." What? Man, fuck that. I got to put Luther Reigns over. Great guy, but dude, I'm RVD, and we're just coming. This is my return to Tokyo. I'm senpai now, a big star, and I grew and they saw me when I was younger. It's a big deal, and you just got a guy you're going to try and push for a few weeks, and then you're going to quit pushing him when it doesn't work. And in the meantime, you had to have me do a job. I did it. I'm a hypocrite according to these people.
Jeez.
Go ahead to the next one.
Next one.
Okay. Did it happen under the ECW banner? Yes. Was RVD a part of ECW? Yes. He may want to distance himself and act like it wasn't me. That's the one that I brought up. But he was a major part of a company that did crazy shit where a suplex on a spike would be considered tame. It's so crazy. We all had our own stuff. And me and Sabu used to look at Balls and Axel, and we thought they were gross because they always were bleeding, always had blood all over them, and they like to have, a lot of times they have thumbtacks in them, staples in them. Sometimes Balls would be sitting there at 1 a.m. in the lobby of the hotel drinking, still in his gear, sweaty, smelly, with Band-Aids on his head, and got tacks and staples and shit in his arm. He loved it. I'd never loved it. That was never wrestling to me. That wasn't something I wanted to do. That wasn't my style, the gangsters. I honestly didn't know if New Jack could do a headlock, Now that I've had so much more life and I get a much bigger picture of everything, now I understand that he did know how to do a headlock and that was his style. But back then, when we were competitive in that state of mind, we were watching our backs in the dressing room and stuff. I used to always think, man, they do those garbage matches because there's not one wrestling move in the whole match, and so they do it so they don't have to wrestle. Maybe they don't. I knew Mustafa knew how. I'd wrestled him actually in WCW way back before ECW, and the lights went out in a house show in Florida. Where they go spring breaking in the Panhandle there, Tallahassee, or
is it the fucking
Pensacola? You're right. That's what it is. Anyway,
I knew it.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I used to, and if you hear me doing interviews from 1998, 99 or whatever, I'd probably say, I don't know, New Jack knows how to do a headlock. I've never seen him do a wrestling move. That wasn't my thing back then, now, tomorrow. So for this guy to say, because I was a major part of the company and that the company did crazy shit, he thinks that I should take credit for all that crazy shit. And somehow by me saying that I would prefer to be associated with this style instead of this style, somehow by saying that, he thinks that I'm trying to distance myself. And that's something too. Some of the people, the fans, they think that comments come from who's paying you. And that's another example of they don't know me. They don't know that I've always been transparent and been clear and opinionated no matter what company I've ever worked for. But I got a track record that nobody bothers. But if they're not even bothering to see the actual interview and they're going to put everything on the line with the quote taken out of context, then they're definitely not going to do any due diligence and look up interviews from me from back in the day to see if I'm consistent or not. It doesn't matter to them. To them, they're going to use a big word and make them feel special.
Well, this guy's also like being hyperbolic too, because he's like, that did crazy shit where a suplex on a spike would be considered tame. I don't think in any context of any wrestling that would necessarily be tame, right? Like you're fucking potentially paralyzing yourself if you land on that thing wrong.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I hated when New Jack and Vic Grimes had their fight of heights.
Yeah.
They were going higher and higher, and it was so sloppy. It wasn't like it was a lot like what I see with the garbage wrestling, where instead of a move, two guys grab each other and both jump. It was kind of ugly like that, but I think it was because New Jack was falling and grabbed him and pulled him over, from what I've learned from interviews. But anyway, dangerous as fuck. He came down crashing, bounced off the top rope. He could have been paralyzed and shit. And it wasn't like because I was on that card, that's me.
Yeah. This is just because you're, or like, if you even want to go another route too, look at like, hey, fucking D Malenko wrestled in ECW as the shooter. Like, had those, him and Eddie had those matches. So in that ecoscape, are they going to be hipper? I don't think Eddie would have liked that spike spot by AEW. I don't think he would have been okay with something like that. Just taking a guess there, but throwing it out there,
crazy when these fans reveal their thought process and you really look at it and it's like, do they have a job? Do they know what it's like to work with a whole bunch of other people? Or do they think that everybody is all in love with each other with one common goal, and that's to get everybody else over except for themselves or something?
Right. It's weird. It's weird. All right, here, Rob, here's the next one.
Okay, good. She really straightened me out because here I didn't know until she told me what wrestling's all about. But Kimberly says, I love RVD, but bro is acting like being a pro wrestler is a normal job. I don't know how she got that. It's a job. You can take normal out. It's definitely a job, Kimberly Valerie. Before you told me this, I thought it was like you show up somewhere at a place to work, people have plans for you, they tell you what you're going to do, and then you do it and do your best at it. That's what I thought. I guess I don't know, though.
No, Rob. If you enjoy what you do, too, that doesn't make it a job, Rob.
I guess not. And to her, a normal job is holding a sign to advertise an event. So I guess what she means is she doesn't have any skills to follow a career, and she's cool with minimum wage jobs because she lives with her parents and doesn't like feed her family off of what she's doing. Because for me, that kind of makes it a job if I'm feeding my family off of the work that I'm doing. But let me keep going because she says a lot. Brother, you were an actor and an athlete. Usually actors and athletes enjoy their work. I gotta say, I looked it up. I looked up the happiest people on the planet. It's actors and athletes.
Wow.
Yeah, because they always get treated the way that the agents say. Everything's always right on time. And with actors, like there's never any time sitting in a trailer all day with wardrobe and makeup, thinking that you're going to film next, but they can't get the shot right. There's never any time when you got to do the scene over and over and over and over because there's some sound or something that they don't pick up. And that's why actors are always smiling, and athletes too. That's why you never see an actor or athlete depressed or committing suicide. They're all just the happiest people on the earth. And I completely forgot about that till Kimberly told me. Yeah, that's why they all are so happy to stop dinner and turn and take a picture and an autograph with you too. And, you know, no one's ever assholes or anything about that or grumpy. That's why they don't beat their wives. Not NFL players or NBA players. You never see them getting into any tussles like that because they're happy.
They're happy.
Okay. Being a pro wrestler, it's not something most people do for work. Most people that wrestle do it for work, but it's not what most people, meaning the over 7 billion people on the planet, it's not something most of them do for work, if that's what you mean. But that's not what she means. She means we don't do it for work, not like holding a sign. If you hold a sign, that's a job. That's a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hold a sign, bro. You can spin it. You can fucking flip it if you're good at it and dance and get people's attention and have them honk. That's something aspiring to be. But wrestling, being a pro wrestler, is not something most people do for work. It's generally something people choose to do because they enjoy doing it. Yay. And they make it a way to make money doing it.
No, Rob, I thought you did this all for free, and I just thought you got really popular, and for some reason you just somehow survive. I don't know how.
You know what? I gotta have a talk with Kimberly, see if she'll go visit Uncle Sam with me, because all these years I've been paying taxes as if I had a job.
Holy smokes.
So silly.
Rob, does that mean I make more money than you? Is that what that means right now?
I don't know. I just do it because it's fun.
That's what I
wish I had time to do another full-time job while I was still wrestling. But while I was traveling 300 days a year, being away from home, being with all these wonderful, They're wrestlers. How can I not be happy? How it's not like they're adulterers farting on the bus trying to measure each other's dicks and stroke each other off with their stories. It's not like that. It's fun. And these are the guys I grew up with. So obviously, you can't spend enough time and have enough fun with a situation like that. So here I was 300 days a year turning down any invitation that I ever got to do any parties or weddings or whatever, because I'm either going to be on the road or it's going to be the 1 or 2 days that I'm sleeping to go have more fun and more partying. But Kimberly, thank you for putting that into perspective. I don't know what I was thinking, but she obviously knows it. And actors too. I remember, matter of fact, shooting the Black Mass 2 in Thailand. This thought just comes to me. And the catering there, it was so great. And it was so great. Tiny Lister, Zeus.
Yeah.
Tiny from Friday. He was so happy. I remember him yelling at the people in catering so they could experience his joy. And I remember specifically him saying, "Look at this. I can't eat this. My mama can't make me eat this." And he was so happy.
Yeah, right? Because he loves what he does.
Yes.
It's not work, Rob. It's not work.
Kimberly knows. Kimberly knows. So, and then there's one more.
Yep.
Let's go to the next one. This has been fun talking about all this. And I can't believe anyone listening actually has a counterpoint, because what I'm doing is speaking English, making sense, and trying to tell you are wrong. But I know a lot of you can't hear it, and hopefully it'll get me some more fun conversation on X this week. Yeah. Okay. So here's the same Kimberly. This explains a lot. Okay. RVD is literally telling people how to put the fries in the bag. Laugh my ass off. That's literally why we are fooling on him right now. Maybe learn to read, babe. So obviously Kimberly doesn't know what literally means either.
No.
She doesn't know what literally means. None of them know what hypocrite means. And that's something that I learned. And so a lot of you that say, why do you waste your time arguing with these idiots? It's because I have the platforms to put the stuff on. It's because all of you are also listening. And some of you will find it entertaining. And some of you, maybe it'll make you think. I had one guy, I said, hey, do you think being a hypocrite is a bad thing or no? And then I said, if someone has a bad experience, here's an example, right? Ugh, this is gross. Taste this. Does that make me a hypocrite? I mean, where do you draw the lines?
Yeah, right.
Stupid. That word moral, you saw the word moral, didn't you?
Yes.
Fans can't see moral. They don't know what it means. They thought, M-O, I'll just skip that one. I don't know what that means, because they don't have morality, because they're just marks in the IWC that just want to fight, and they just want a W. They just want to win something. They don't care if they're wrong or not. They want to win an argument, and they don't care how stupid they sound, because there's no accountability, because it's social media. Me, they'll remember everything that I said. And not only that, the things that they think I said, which is worse. Stupid. Somebody said something. I saw a post where there was something about blood. They said, "Oh, be careful. RVD might get upset at the blood." Off of what? Except for people misunderstanding, misquoting, and being stupid and not realizing the facts. I happen to be more of a fact guy myself.
Right.
That's the kind of shit you need in court, but not with idiots. Not with idiots. You just need something convincing, and that's good enough.
Well, Rob, thankfully, a lot of these fans, though, they are able to tell you and give you their opinions. And I think, in certain ways, Rob, advice, because like everybody has, I think, to an extent, they must have stepped in a wrestling ring and know how that all works and everything like that to kind of dole out this kind of opinions and thoughts and
Yeah.
call you out on some of your BS. I think you're right.
And I'll share this with you. When it comes to them being willing to actually go so far, I'm going to get touched up. When they're willing to go so far as to give me unwanted advice,
Mm-hmm.
I know that means a lot because I know that when they're alone, in order to do that, they have to tell themselves that RVD would be happy if he could trade his life for mine. And that's why I want to give him advice so he can understand how to be more like me and not like him and have his life. And I just want you to know I am so thankful that they realize that.
Rob, I mean, you're a bigger person than I to admit something like that.
240. Put on a couple pounds.
Mm-hmm. Man, thank you, fans.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, I can keep going on. Let me tell you, I wrote some notes here.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I'll go through while you're talking and see if there's anything that oh my God, there's so much stuff. But here's one thing that I want to say, because what I think is likely is these fans on X, the ignorant ones, they don't know me. They don't know that I pride myself on being honest and that I've always been open-mouthed, talking in any company. They don't like that I do whatever I want and show up in any company because they, for some reason, these new, especially the AEW fans, don't think you should be allowed to do that. You should be all in AEW or nothing. That's what I'm learning. But here's something else. Since you don't know me, fans, you're able to fill in all the blanks about me with your own imagination. You only know me by one dimension, maybe by a wrestler, maybe by a pothead. You know, I saw one comment. There was a video about my match with Eddie Guerrero when the fan ran in and somebody interviewed me on what I remembered about it. And I said, oh, you know, or what I was thinking. I guess it was probably the Chris Van Vliet thing. And anyway, one of the comments said, I don't think Rob really remembers what happened there. I think he just remembers seeing this video. You know, marijuana takes away a lot of your memory. And that's like such a basic thinking, ignorant way for somebody. It's the only one thing you know about me. What if my family gets Alzheimer's in their 40s? Would that be a factor? If I did have a bad memory, which I don't, which you guys know because I'm spitting facts and dates out at you on the podcast every week. But thing is, they wouldn't even consider anything else. All they know is the one thing. So that's going to be whatever. RVD died today. I knew that marijuana would get him. That's so dumb. But basic thinkers can only think one thought at a time. And that's whatever makes it to their head first. So here's what I wanted to do for you. I wanted to make you realize that if you just know the RVD wrestling on TV and then you're disappointed when you meet the real RVD, which is me, then I got some news for you. You and I are not quite the same. And why am I doing this? Separating us? I think you need it for growth. I think you need to realize that right now, this is a real person. I have my own values, not yours. So everybody that thinks, man, I would love to hang out with RVD and man, just have him for the weekend. We'd go to the woods, we'd go hunting and fishing and tell stories about wrestling. Guess what? I would not enjoy that at all. I hate the thought of hunting and fishing, getting mosquitoes bitten on me. I'm not even an outdoors man. I would miss my fucking bidet. You want me to wipe my ass with leaves? No, thank you. All right. That's one. Okay, what else? Well, you know how you guys like race cars? It's exciting, and that motor goes, wah, and you think that's really cool. I don't like that. I don't know anything about cars. It's nothing I ever paid attention to. The loudness in general is annoying. Loud motors for sure. And I don't know if it's a Ford or a Chevy or a Toyota that's passing me on the road. That's me, okay? Hey, you know how fun it is to go to football games? Well, guess what? I don't think I've watched a football game since I was in high school. And even then, I wasn't really watching the games. I was walking underneath the bleachers, goofing around, doing social things. But I don't think I've seen a football game since then. So, am I a fan of the Detroit Lions? Am I a fan of this team or that team? Sure, why not? Right. Well, what about baseball? When baseball's in season, that's fun, right? I don't think I've seen a baseball game since probably when I was a teenager. I remember going to support somebody shortly after that, some games that I might have been involved in, or maybe I worked with a grocery store that was part of the team, in which case I'm a hypocrite if I was part of the team and they played, and then I'm saying I don't watch it. Does that make me a hypocrite? Oh, no. You and I are different there, okay? Soccer, same thing. Golf, dude, never watched a golf game. I don't imagine why I would. Never played a golf game. The miniature golf I've played, and I did go one time to that Golf Land, whatever you call it, the big thing that's popular now with Booker T, and tried to putt. But it's just not my thing. Surely when the Olympics are on, I set aside some time and support the good old USA, right? I can't remember the last time I watched any of the Olympics. All right. I don't spend my time the same way that you spend your time. We have different values. Okay. In order to be one of a kind, it isn't just that I do moves different and that I'm laid back and cool. Everything that I prioritize, everything that I spend my time studying or doing, there's a good chance that it's a little different than what you spend your time with. In fact, I don't even really like competition. I don't. I like watching fights. If it's MMA, I enjoy that. If it's a fight on the streets, I may enjoy it on Instagram. And maybe if it's something happening in front of me, but if it's the screaming and louding, the big lead up for a fight on the streets, I'm out of there. I'll just walk right by it, pull Katie with me. I don't want to put the drama over. If they're swinging and stuff, I might stop to see how it turns out. That's more like real life than playing football, because you could get attacked for your money or for your car or for anything, and you could find yourself in an actual physical altercation in real life. So that's different for me. I feel like that's interesting, seeing what really works, what doesn't in certain situations. But as far as competing, do I want to race? No. Like, when people want to be competitive with me, I feel like I got enough W's in my life. You know what I mean? What am I going to do? Why do I need another one to beat you, arm wrestling or whatever? Sometimes, depending on who it is, the idea of friendly competition, if it's two dudes that I want to see who's better at something, whatever. But overall, I don't watch it. I don't watch competition. I don't watch boxing. It's not something that I do a lot. And I'm just sharing this with you because we not like you or whatever. How about people? You want to go somewhere where it's really crowded? Dude, they're having the grand opening at that Irish bar. It looks packed. Let's go. Fuck no. That sounds horrible to me. I don't want to go where everyone's packed and it's sardine. No. I mean, bunch of years ago, yeah, because I was hoping to get some pussy. Maybe then hoping to look at some good-looking girls and maybe meet somebody or something. But just to go out and be because everyone else is there, that's the opposite reason of wanting to go out. You want to go and go to this new bar, man? They got live music playing tonight. Fuck no, I hate live music. Not a fan. I hate it when I'm trying to eat dinner, I'm trying to talk to you and you can't hear me because the music's so loud. And I'm like, I can't hear what? Well, never mind. I'll tell you in a minute. I don't enjoy that stuff. And I'm not a fan of music. You want to go to a concert? The only concerts I go to are if I'm chaperoning, like sometimes I'll go with Katie and just be there to feel like her bodyguard or whatever, or to support, Cypress Hills in town. They're friends of ours. Yeah, we'll come down and see you and hang out and smoke some weed. Cool. But am I singing? No. Am I dancing? No. You want to go to karaoke? I don't. You're not going to see me pretending that I'm the one that sings this song on the radio. That doesn't sound fun to me. And same thing about dancing. That's not something I do. Now, out of that long list, I must have hit a few of you. I mean, I think everybody must fall into some of those categories. And that's part of your life. And my point is that's not part of mine. So if the image of RVD that you created in your head that you fantasize about is different than what you just learned about the real me, then so be it. Grow the fuck up.
Hell yeah, Rob. Hell yeah. Everybody's like, you're dropping some facts on here, Rob. Maddie says it too.
I'm one of a kind. You know what? I don't like holidays. You want to go see the fireworks? I fucking don't like fireworks. I'm not into them. Sometimes it can be like if it's really timed right with music and it's really big and extravagant, it can be cool. I'll admit that. But overall, it's so redneck. People just shooting up. Pew! Oh, wow. That's exciting. Let's, noise pollution, air pollution, ground pollution. I'm not a fan. And, and I wouldn't be offended if someone says, wow, Rob sounds boring, because I'm okay with that, because I got somebody that doesn't think I'm boring, and she's the only one I want to spend my time with.
That's it. Rob, do you like bowling, though? Are you a bowling guy?
I have bowled as an adult a few times.
Yeah.
I was in a bowling league, and like in the last 10 years, maybe I've gone twice. Found out I wasn't as good as I used to be. The last time that I remember was a wrap-up party for the Shark movie, Three-Headed Shark Attack.
Oh.
And I was one of those guys that went out there, threw it, and then fell on my ass. And I did it twice. It was so embarrassing because I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe I used to be on a league. Like, what is going on here? And it wasn't fun.
No, I'm an awful bowler. When I get blackout drunk, though, I bowl better. Like, if I'm hammered, I can do a better job of bowling. But, yes, I find bowling fun. But, yes, I just opened a new Turtle Beach headset, the Stealth 700. And man, I did a little pre-opening beforehand because I'm a klutz. And my cat is also a klutz, because during a live recording once with RVD, this was a couple weeks ago when we had Mike Kyoto on, he actually knocked over my Xbox. And it's up about 4 feet high. So it face planted. I thought it was dead. But thankfully, the Xbox is pretty sturdy and it wasn't. And now I get to use this headset here. Bear with me. Maybe some editing here happening. All right. Ooh, man. Yeah, that cancels everything out. Very comfortable on my head. And I can just only imagine what the audio quality is going to be like. I feel like a fighter pilot. I feel like Tom Cruise in Top Gun. But whatever you play, you can engage and chat, talk some trash. I usually don't talk trash because I'm horrible and I always lose a fight Fortnite. So, but what you can do too is use promo code RVD. Use the link and use promo code RVD to get 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com. And you can feel good about your gaming experience. It's already elevating it. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to plug this in and try it out. And I'll give a further review in the later video. But go to turtlebeach.com, use promo code RVD, and get 10% off your order. All right, guys. See you later. Happy gaming. And, yes, let's go Bucks. Free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. I also did get, too, that something I loved, and that ran out really quickly, too, was just their soap. Like, just their regular bar of soap was awesome. And that was Mount Fuji as well. And man, I was so bummed when I ran out of that too. But as a special offer for our listeners, new customers can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack use. So you can just use code RVD at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support all our show and tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Promo code RVD.
Yo, Rob, we're going to take a quick time out just to say that this week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed. Get Blitzed Lit Aid Nano Infused THC Syrup is a premium cannabis infused syrup formulated with nanotechnology for fast acting effects. And that advanced nanotechnology formulation allows for quicker onset and enhanced potency compared to regular THC syrup. It's Delta 9 and legal in all 50 states, every single one. And you have several syrups to choose from Blue Raz to key lime pie to pina colada to tiger's blood to cherry to grape. Just head to get-blitz.com, use promo code RVD, and get 15% off your whole order. Could be a bottle, could be a bundle, your choice. But yes, head to get-blitz.com, use promo code RVD, and it is by Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney. Take a look. Head to get-blitz.com, promo code RVD, get 15% off. It's one of a kind, baby.